Hi, I'm Rick Kaler. Thanks for joining me. I receive a monthly email newsletter from a company named Regenex that is pioneering a new technology. This is where they take a person's platelets or stem cells, they process them, and then they inject them back into a suffering joint with the hope that the injected material will help the joint to repair itself. If you do some research on this procedure, you're going to quickly find that it's controversial. There's not a lot of clinical research as of yet that supports the company's claims. For that reason, I've adopted a wait-and-see position about having the procedure done on my overused baby boomer knees. What grabbed my attention in our recent newsletter was a story by one of the doctors describing his experience of being a patient at the Regenex clinic where he works. His associates treated him with the same procedure that he does on his patients. Regardless of whether the procedure is eventually proven effective or whether it isn't, I find myself respecting a doctor who uses for himself what he promotes for others. Now, I don't watch much TV, but when I do, I have to confess it's invariably a cooking show. From these shows, I've learned that a cardinal sin for any chef is not tasting the food before they send it to the guest. In competitive shows, contestants who are not continuously tasting their cooking will eventually be packing their knives and leaving the competition. Financial advising is no different. Suppose you discover that your financial planner sold you active mutual funds with expense ratios of up to 1.5%, but invested their own money into passively managed low-cost mutual funds with expense ratios as low as 0.09%. Would that cause you to become suspicious? That maybe the advisor might have a double standard? Or wonder why what is good for you isn't good for the advisor? Or suppose that you're an overspender who seeks out an advisor to help you work through the technical and emotional issues of creating a spending plan to gain mastery over your money. What thoughts and feelings would you have if you also discovered your advisor was an active overspender? Or maybe on the verge of bankruptcy? If advisors don't own any of the product they are selling you or follow the advice they are giving you, very few will volunteer this information. It's therefore your responsibility to ask advisors, do you follow your own advice? Now, this is a legitimate and an important question. It's perfectly appropriate for prospective clients to find out whether financial advisors manage and invest their own money in the same ways they recommend to clients, or follow the same financial planning recommendations. Yet, prospective clients rarely ask advisors to disclose what they personally invest in. And I'll admit, it's a hard thing to do. And this is probably because, in part, many of us have a money script that it isn't polite to ask people personal questions about their finances. I would suggest that politeness isn't the issue here. You have a duty to yourself to be sure the advice you are getting is coming from someone who has successfully accomplished what they are coaching you to do. To make asking these questions a little easier, you might compare financial advising to other forms of coaching. Would you take golf lessons from someone who doesn't golf? Would it be okay to ask, do you golf? Or singing lessons from someone who can't carry a tune? Well, of course you wouldn't. It's just as ridiculous to take financial advice from someone who says, do as I say, not as I do. Don't be satisfied with an advisor who talks the talk. Make sure that they also walk the walk, that they follow the advice they recommend to you. It can help you be sure their advice will guide you in the right direction. Thanks for joining me.